Welcome to this edition of SportsCenter with Carter Bowman. Today we will be examining the top stories of the NFL season thus far and how they are able to mirror some of the aspects within the writing of Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Number 1 on our list is the suicide of the Minnesota Vikings. Since 1960, the Vikings have been ending the second half of their seasons with a shot to the heart. After a 6-1 start the season this year, the Vikings ended their success only to lose to division rival and worst team in the NFC, the Bears. This 20-3 loss left Minnesota sitting helpless and waiting to see what comes next. Nonetheless, the thing that this team can still accomplish is a touchdown every once in a while, which is exactly what Mary Shelley scored in writing her novel, Frankenstein. One aspect of her novel mirrors the suicide that the Vikings are experiencing in their season. Harriet, former lover of Mary's husband Percy in her actual life, ended up committing suicide after getting pregnant with Percy's baby, and then being left to fend for herself. This concept of contemplating suicide appears once again when writing in the novel. Victor, the protagonist of Mary's story, is very skeptical of the situation that he has created with his monster. Consequently, he too decides, as a means of escape, to contemplate suicide to get out of the misery that he created. This concept most likely stems from Harriet, who ended up committing this act because she wanted to escape the difficulties that lie ahead for the years to come. Not only did the Vikings experience seasonal suicide, but the death is also apparent in both Mary's personal life and in her novel. On a separate note, some teams in the league today are still decimating their opponents. Take, for example, the New England Patriots, who have been finding ways to win without the Super Bowl winner 4 times, Tom Brady, after his suspension. But now that he's back in New England's system, the team will only continue to pulverize the opposition. One type of decimation, however, that cannot be joked about so lightly is murder. In Mary Shelley's personal life, Claire, stepsister of Mary, accused her baby daddy, Lord Byron, of killing her son William. This news, while not proven to be true, could have paved the path for Mary choosing to have William be the character in Frankenstein that ends up dying to the monster. Much turmoil surrounds this scene as it did in her personal life, leaving the real murderer, presumably the monster in the novel, able to get off without a hiccup, just like the cheating scumbags who deflated their footballs. Finally, we need to examine the flaws in the Green Bay Packers. It has been a shocking season for the team, who has struggled to get any type of offensive movement going. This roadblock has been forcing the Packers to reevaluate their options in various positions, such as the running back, which has also dealt with some injuries. Ultimately, the Packers' goal is to return their once again title. The Lombardi Trophy is a signifying tangible item of the Super Bowl, which originated in Titletown, Green Bay, Wisconsin, which will ultimately, all of these cheeseheads in Green Bay want to get back to their town. This sense of coming home for something that they want, just like the Lombardi Trophy, is also apparent in Frankenstein, where Victor is all alone and the only thing keeping him going is the thought of his long lover Elizabeth. He comes home in hopes of reuniting this lustful love. In Mary's life, she too finds love upon arrival home. She returned home after being sent to England by her parents, and she returns home to find a new life. Percy Shelley was a strong admirer of her father, and therefore was around the house quite often. This feeling of coming home to love excited both Mary as well as the protagonist of her novel, creating an apparent connection. If Mary really wanted to convey this message, then she would have also written about it in her novel, which she did, in a not-so-discreet way. Alrighty, that does it for this edition of SportsCenter with Carter Bowman. Today, we examined the top stories of the NFL season thus far, and how they are able to mirror some of the aspects within the writing of Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I'll see you next time.